We welcome you inside the Brooklyn Park Community Center as Brett and I were kind of talking about some stuff before game. My apologies on that. So,
oh, what an inauspicious start there, Patrick Lilia.
Right. So, as Totino-Grace will be hosting state third place finisher Blaine from last year. Blaine coming in. Of course, Bryce Brodzinski has moved on. So, of course, if you lose Mr. Hockey, that's always going to be a little bit of a challenge going into the next year. But the Bengals still have some really good players that come in with a record of 10-6 and played a really tough schedule. First, we're going to have some ceremonies here at the Brooklyn Park Community Center before we get going.
Yeah, not sure what type of ceremony we necessarily had. It's either senior night or faculty appreciation, but we'll cover here on the TV network. I think we will shut off at least the broadcast headsets, but we'll still get you audio from the ice, so you can follow along with what's happening now.
Tonight we are honoring teachers chosen by many of our Totino-Grace hockey players. First, Lachlan Kaiser, number 1. We'd like to thank history teacher, Mr. Tyson. Mr. Tyson puts a smile on Lachlan's face every time he sees him. He makes learning fun. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Number 1, Lachlan Kaiser. These two players, have the same teacher. Adam Johnson would like to thank science teacher, Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith has been Adam's teacher for 2 years now and has taught 4 different science classes. She is easy to talk to, kind, and makes class fun. She is a favorite teacher. She is his favorite teacher at Totino-Grace, and he thanks her for all that she has done for him. Also, Jack, the field number 12, also appreciates Mrs. Smith because she is patient, kind, and makes biology fun. Two more players and Mr. Rodriguez. Sam Healy would like to thank bias teacher Mr. Rodriguez. Sam had Mr. Rodriguez for Jim his first 2 years of high school. Over that time, Sam has felt. Hunter Tisdale, number 2. I'd like to thank administrative assistant Mrs. Weeks. Hunter appreciates Mrs. Weeks because of how she lifts up his spirits every time he comes to school late. She's always carrying Rosie extra mile for him. She is the reason he still attends Totino-Grace High School. Thank you, Mrs. Weeks. Now we're going to go back to Mr. Rodriguez. Sam Thielen. Sam and Mr. Rodriguez for Jim's first 2 years of high school. Over that time, Sam has felt like Mr. Rodriguez is somebody to talk to. Mr. Rodriguez knows how to put a smile on his face no matter how this day is going. Totino-Grace is blessed to have Mr. Rodriguez as a teacher at the school because he's not a very good teacher, but he's also a very good man. Also, number 16, Brandon Munsinger would like to thank Mr. Rodriguez. He is funny, athletic, and a great trombone player. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. You'll hear him play the trombone in a little bit. Rudy's out there now. Rudy Mahalik. We'd also like to thank Mrs. Dingerud for always being there to help him with his math. She goes out of her way to make sure students understand. Thank you, Mrs. Dingerud. Number 10, Jack Gray. We'd like to thank history teacher, Mr. Welly. Mrs. Welly. Jack appreciates Mrs. Welly because she makes history class interesting. She's energetic, positive, kind, and always willing to help. She has enjoyed spending his open hours in the room. Thank you, Mrs. Welly. Also, Lady Lockervito also would like to thank Mrs. Welly because her class is chill and fun, and she doesn't give much homework. Number 12, Luke Delzer would like to thank marketing teacher, Mrs. Sharmer. Mrs. Sharmer is the nicest teacher in Totino-Grace. She is the one teacher Luke says you can always talk to about anything. It has also found her class to be very enjoyable. Thank you, Mrs. Sharmer. After Finley, we'd like to thank English teacher, Mrs. Ann. After we'd like to thank her for being an awesome teacher. Her classes are super fun. We appreciate all she has done for us. He says, oh, and you have to deal with her ski man on a regular basis. So we can all appreciate that. Also, Walker and Pearlbrook would like to thank Mrs. Ann for never failing to make them laugh in class. Thank you, Mrs. Ann. Give her a hand. Number 17, Trenton Pierce, would like to thank Spanish teacher, Sonora Wiedmeiler. An hour to Trenton. There are many reasons Trenton appreciates Sonora Wiedmeiler. This family has known her for a long, long time, so they know how great a teacher she really is. She is also very positive, energetic, and will help students whenever they need it. She also makes class fun and makes Spanish class to look forward to each day. Sonora Wiedmeiler goes out. Thank you, Sonora Wiedmeiler. I just spoke Spanish. Number 17, Andy Kochak. Would like to thank that teacher, Mrs. Sagan. Andy thinks he has made a great impact on his math career at work ethic. You make your class enjoyable and Andy looks forward to the next semester. It's exciting to learn something new each and every day. Thank you, Mrs. Bacon. Number 18, Grant Morgan, would like to thank our teacher, Mrs. Swanson. Mrs. Swanson's thoughtfulness, kindness, and willingness, a lot of that, to put a student's needs before her own is greatly appreciated. She takes students' busy schedules into consideration, which makes life much easier. Thank you for being an awesome health and homeroom teacher, Mrs. Swanson. Number 19, Luke Schroeder. We'd like to thank that teacher, Mr. Glenn. First off, Mr. Glenn is one of his favorite teachers. For a kid who doesn't care for math much, Mr. Glenn makes math fun and enjoyable. He's got killer dad jokes, never fails in delivering his legendary weekend updates. Those things, along with a sense of sarcasm, really make Luke's day. Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Number 21, Austin Berthelman. We'd like to thank Spanish teacher, Mrs. Schreiber. Mrs. Schreiber was Austin's semester 1 Spanish teacher. She made class fun and exciting every day. She had fun class activities and keep everyone engaged in learning. She was a great teacher and Austin was sad to leave her class. 21 Ronnie Wood. I'd like to thank English teacher Mrs. Michaels. Rocky appreciates Mrs. Michaels because she is very dedicated to all of her students and she cares about them very much. She takes extra time to help all students when they need help. She's a great teacher and a fun person to be around. She's been Ronnie's favorite teacher since the beginning, and he looks forward to being in her class again in the future. Thank you, Mrs. Michael. And two players have the same teacher. Number 23, Kyle Efron. I'd like to thank military history teacher, Mr. Devon. Mr. Devon was Kyle's favorite teacher because he allowed him to have a lot of fun during his class while still learning a lot. Mr. Devon makes the class really fun for everyone there. Really interesting things are learned in this class each and every day. Mr. Devon is a great person that cares about every one of his students. Kyle also really enjoys talking to him about sports and about any other thing that's happening around the world. Thank you, Mr. Devon. Number 22, Katie Jefferson, also like to thank Mr. Devon. Mr. Devon was funny and connected. His lessons in everyday things. Thank you, Mr. Devon. Number 27, Stephen Golden would like to thank engineering teacher, Mr. Welly. Stephen appreciates how Mr. Welly always comes to class with a smile. With a sense of humor, he also makes the whole class laugh and smile. He's always positive and willing to help when we need it. Engineering is one of Stephen's favorite parts of the day. Was with Mr. Welly makes learning fun. Thank you, Mr. Welly. Number 35, Wes Johnson would like to thank religion teacher, Mrs. Haas. Mrs. Haas was his religion teacher during the first semester. He said she was great at understanding questions he had about Jesus. She was also very keen with students entertained and makes the class fun. This class is great and must can't wait to have another class with Mrs. Haas in the future. Thank you, Mrs. Haas. At this time, we'd like to give a round of applause to all of the Totino-Grace teachers in attendance today. Teachers still do their role against the freshmen that have been settled in the conference room. Several parents have also pitched in and they can see these special for you. Again, thank you for your dedication to the students at Totino-Grace High School. You are educational rock stars who live to inspire, love, and encourage, and are helping shape the future of our young children. You are so appreciated, and we, the students and parents, sincerely thank you for all you do. Now it's time to enjoy the game and let's play some hockey.
We welcome you back inside on Teacher Appreciation Night here at the Brooklyn Park Community Center. Now getting set for the Bengals and the Eagles. Bengals coming off a tough loss at Hockey Day, Minnesota on Saturday. They gave up a late goal to the Blake Bears. The Bears, despite their season that they've had, very strong contender. Well, still not a lot of people, I think, really thinking about them or talking about them, but Blake really just about as good a chance as anybody to end up in St. Paul this coming late February into early March. They beat Blaine on Saturday 3-2 outdoor at the Parade Ice Garden.
Oh, check this out here, Patrick. We got a teacher band that's going to be right next to us during the broadcast.
All right.
It reminds me of the days back at Braemar. I don't know if you called any games at Braemar and Edina when they would stick us with the broadcast in the corner and we'd have the student band right by us. It made for a joyful broadcast.
Usually when we did the Tonka games, the band is on the other side of the...
Oh, I love it, though. First game we've had a band out at the rink. I'll take it. I'll take a little extra noise in the broadcast.
Myself as well. So Totino-Grace hasn't played in a few days. The game against Armstrong Cooper on Saturday was postponed. We do not have any information about a potential makeup for that yet, but we'll certainly let you know on Twitter and elsewhere when that information comes out. I'm sure the school will certainly be the first ones to put out that information as the Bengals starters introduced. As goal, Ryan Wallen, Finn Loftus with 15 assists, the defenseman. Cam Schoberg, the other defense. Carson Rickles, 16 goals on the year. And Cole Hansen, his line mate. Those two have combined for 70 points this year, 16 goals apiece. And Jack Ryman, a very good, strong Blaine front line. We're kind of talking about all kinds of different teams on and off there. You'll have to excuse me. So the Blaine starters introduced, and now we'll get the Eagles.
I have to call you Lou Nanny over there, Patrick. I have a nickel every time Lou Nanny says the wrong team at state. I'm more playfully saying that. I actually love Lou Nanny's commentary, but
I know.
He provides great analysis, but I get a kick out of the fact that every once in a while he messes up the teams.
We got Lachlan Kaiser back in net tonight. It's been a while since we saw him. He comes in with a 3-3 record, a 3.33 goals against average. As Sam Thielen being introduced. Jack Gray will be part of the starting lineup tonight as well. And Kyle Heffron rounding out the top line for the Eagles. As to open things up tonight.
Yeah, so interesting to see Kaiser in between the pipes for Totino-Grace. He certainly has not played in quite some time, but he has started 6 games on the year. 3-3 record with a 3.20 goals against, .883 save percentage.
So we're going to take a break for your national anthem. Come back with Puck Drop. Blaine and Totino-Grace coming up next. Now getting set for puck drop between Totino-Grace and Blaine. Last time we saw the Eagles, it was the 3rd straight overtime game. The 3rd improbable finish. They knocked off Elk River 6-5 in overtime on Luke Delzer's 2nd goal of the game. So Brett and I have kind of joked among ourselves all week. How are they going to follow up this most recent stretch? Certainly an opponent in Blaine that could provide for another unbelievable game and an unbelievable finish, but we've got a long ways to go to get there.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this one goes to overtime yet again, making it 4 in a row for Totino-Grace. This is a big matchup in terms of seeding in Section 5 AA. For Blaine, this could go a long way towards possibly giving them the #1 seed, while for Totino-Grace, he would really like to avoid that 4-5 matchup. So a win tonight against the Blaine Bengals would certainly strengthen their argument to get a #3 seed in Section 5 AA, which would create a much more favorable matchup compared to being in that 4-5 seeding. So yeah, this will be a big game for both these teams to try to solidify themselves in section seeding.
Blaine with a matchup against Maple Grove on Thursday, already having beaten the Crimson a few weeks ago. That will be another huge matchup. You also have the Centennial Cougars lurking a little bit, not far out, but nobody really talking about them, but they're in that mix as well. As a face-off controlled and pushed into the Totino-Grace zone, back out at neutral ice, where Finn Loftus will dump it back into the Eagles zone. It'll work its way up into the far side corner, be poked past Cole Hansen. Thielen on the far side with it.
I'm going to say Loftus, he might be one of the players that has the most assists in the state without scoring a goal for Blaine. He's got 15 assists, no goals.
He's talking about that a little bit as well off air. It's played back into the neutral zone. Loftus sending it over toward the far side as it's flipped in deep to the Eagles zone once again. It's Carson Rickles battling with Howie Moore. They'll flip back out toward the neutral zone again, but not out of the Eagles zone. Now out through is Loftus, able to slow it down, getting it over toward Cam Schoberg as Schoberg gets back to the neutral zone. The shot wide of the net. It might have been actually been saved with the pad. There's Oliver Moore into the offensive zone. He'll take a shot, and that's saved by Ryan Wallen, the #1 goaltender for the Bengals. 8-3, a 2.43 ERA as we get a 2.43 goals against average.
Oh my.
Boy.
It's going to be a long game for you, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Sure starting to look that way.
You never know, he could be playing high school baseball as well. The multi-sport athlete is a thing of the past in high school sports, and it's too bad. So maybe that's a plug that he should be a pitcher for the Blaine Bengals baseball team.
Oh, so we're back to live action. It's played back into the neutral zone. Flipped up toward the far side where Caden Brzezinski fighting along the far side wall. I was figuring that was a lot of fun for broadcasters last year with a Brzezinski and a Brodzinski on the same team. Of course, that would be Bryce Brodzinski, who has moved on, but Brodzinski, the Mr. Hockey from last year, drafted by the Flyers and taken away by the Eagles, pushed into the offensive zone, but well too far ahead, and Wallen just knocks it aside as it's gathered in here by Luke Delzer. Turnover out front. And back up the near side is Hunter Hansen. He's third on the team in goals with 11 as he flips it into the Eagle zone up to the far side corner. On the far side is Brzezinski losing control of the puck. Played along the far side boards. Bryce Lager trying to kill the puck in. The drive held onto by Kaiser with 14:43 to go here in the first period. No score between Blaine and the Eagles.
Well, some of the guys to watch for the Blaine Bengals, obviously Carson Rickles with 15 goals, 16 assists, 32 points. Also have Cole Hansen, 37 points, 16 goals, 21 assists. Very high-scoring team are these Blaine Bengals. They come into the game averaging 4.94 goals per game, which is an excellent number.
The shot by Sean Schweiger was blocked back in the neutral zone. Here's Loftus with it. Loftus trying to get it through the red line. It's kicked around up toward the far side as Schoberg trying to play it ahead. Schoberg having to go back in his own zone, plays it over to Loftus on the near side as he works it ahead to Lager, who plays it deep into the Eagle zone. It'll work its way up toward the far side corner. It's Golden, one of those up there. We get a whistle with 14:10 in the period, making the puck make contact with the Eagles bench.
So go ahead, Patrick.
I was going to say, I think that's why we're going to have our face-off.
I'm just going to make the comment here. The reason why Blaine comes into this game 10-6, Totino-Grace 6-8-1, they'll simply look at the goals given up per game, because Totino-Grace in their own right can certainly put the puck in the net. They average 4.1 per game, but the problem is the Eagles give up 3.87 per contest. Blaine only gives up 2.62, so.
Tefren almost able to take that centering feed away out front as it'll end up on the stick of Derek West of Blaine. He moves his way up the left wing, dumps it into the Eagle zone. Well, the Eagles have shown some strength in the offensive zone. They've had a couple of opportunities perhaps to get on the board first. It's flipped in deep again to the Blaine zone. Thielen won't get to it in time. That'll be an icing and a face-off deep in the Eagle zone. 13:37 to go, first period. No score.
We're going to see if we can watch this on replay, because on one of those shots we saw just a moment ago, I'm not sure Lachlan Kaiser was ready for the shot he faced. Let's watch it again. Yeah, he made the save. Not the prettiest of that he'll ever make, but was able to keep it out of the net.
Face-off will be to the left of Kaiser.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think the last time we saw Lachlan Kaiser play in a game. It's been Wes Johnson who's seen the majority of the action since the new year, but Kaiser, I don't believe, has played since December.
Might have been that road trip to Duluth that we covered against Duluth Marshall. There's a backhand shot wide of the net. Well, trying to remember.
Well, I can get you the exact game in just a second.
It's Blaine with it in the Eagle zone. Once again, it comes down into the near side corner. It's battled for on the near side boards.
And by the way, Kaiser
intercepted. It's going to be Delzer if he can get to it. Delzer with a shot and a save at point blank. No, it's loose. They score. The puck looked like it was covered up. The officials never blew it dead, and the Eagles score.
Oh my, let's take a look at this again. Yeah, because initially it looked like he was going to be denied on that opportunity, but
as Delzer was able to finish off the rebound, as I just assumed they were about to whistle it dead, they never did. And Luke Delzer followed up the point-blank shot, able to jam home the rebound, and the Eagles go on top 1-0 as Delzer continues his hot stretch. Now with 11 goals on the season following the overtime winner against Elk River last week.
Yeah, I didn't have a clear look in terms of that replay to see if the puck was indeed frozen, but the official says no. Didn't see a lot of protest from Blaine, so that's just a good job to dig for it and create that opening goal for TG.
As Darby Jones almost had a run at the net as West gets it down toward Lager on the near side. Lager flips it in deep to the Eagles' zone. They'll cycle up into the far side corner where the Eagles will try to play it back around. Be cut off before it gets to West. West now with it back in the neutral zone. It's loose on the near side boards. Played up now toward the far side. As West goes up there to try to fight to free that puck. Send back into the neutral zone. Here's West with it again. West will play it in deep to the Eagles zone. The Eagles will gather it in the far side circle. This one jams through, trying to get it ahead toward that's Jack Gray. There's an offside whistled here. With 12:04 to go in the first period, 1-0. The Eagles leading it, the 11th goal of the year for Luke Delzer, and we're going to get a penalty coming against Blaine. So that'll put the Eagles on a power play. It's been a very good unit this year.
Let's look at this one more time. Again, that goal, and yeah, it looked like it was loose, so good call by the official. And now, add insult to injury for Blaine at least, it's going to be, as you said, Patrick, the Eagles going on the power play, who have had a very good power play unit this season coming in, converting at just a hair under 31%.
It's played through the corner by Heffron. It'll work its way along the end boards as Jack Ryman was trying to dig it out. This one played back in past Cole Hansen. It's Hansen trying to clear. It's able to be held by Parker Ganaz. Now Ganaz taking it back. He'll cycle it down into the corner once again. Battled for again by Ryman with Oliver Moore. Puck working its way free again back toward the end boards as it's rung around by Schoberg. And sent back into the neutral zone. Ganaz with it. Ganaz will play it over toward the near side, and Heffron. It's tipped as it came into the offensive zone. Along the near side boards with it is Schoberg. Schoberg just trying to jam it free. As Rickles able to get it out to neutral, it'll work its way deep into the Eagle zone where Cole Hansen will get to it in the corner. He's tied up on the end boards. Puck is still in that near side corner as we hit the 6-minute mark of the first period. 1-0 Eagles, the 11th of the year for Luke Delzer. Eventually the Eagles able to work the puck free from the mess. Back up ice they come as it's kicked into the offensive zone. They got it toward Bernovic. Bernovic behind the net with it as he tries to reverse direction now. As Rickles had him tied up. As Wyman battling with Heffron. It comes to the circle. Gray dropping it back to Ganaz at the blue line. Banked back to Heffron. Heffron circling as he sends it down behind the line. As Thielen with a shot that's saved at point blank. Shot through the slot. That'll be tipped wide off the stick of Ganaz. We'll get another whistle with 10:23 to go and 19 seconds in the power play.
Well, if there is one knock to throw at this Blaine Bengals hockey team, is that there is certainly room for improvement on their penalty kill unit, only coming in at 75.5% on that PK. So it's been an area of struggle for them, but so far so good, as they really have not allowed many grade A scoring chances for the Eagles.
Zach Busick able to win the face-off for the Bengals, and then it's able to be cleared by Hunter Hansen. The two Hansens not related. They spell their last names differently. The Eagles work their way back into the offensive zone, and we will get another offside with 4 seconds to go here in the power play. 10:07 in the period. So a good start for the Eagles. Luke Delzer putting them on top with his 11th of the season. Some really good offensive zone pressure for the Eagles early in the game as it's flipped into the Bengals zone. It'll work its way up into the far side corner. Puck is still loose there, eventually gathered in by Hunter Hansen. He plays it over toward the near side, and Caden Brzezinski. Brzezinski getting it out to neutral ice. Now pushed back into the offensive zone. Here's Oliver Moore, but then he got stripped of the puck. Brzezinski, one of those who were in there to poke it away. There's Hunter Hansen with a shot and a save by Lachlan Kaiser. It's up in the far side corner. It's loose in front. As whacking away at it is Busick, and the shot was blocked. Comes up onto the far side boards. Back the other way is Delzer. Delzer able to get it in deep, but it'll be caught up. Well, icing will be called before anything, as Brzezinski got to the puck. We'll have a face-off deep in the Eagles zone. 9:23 to go in the first period. 1-0 Eagles leading it in a big game for both teams. Red was talking about the Eagles wanting to avoid that kind of middle-of-the-road matchup in sectionals. Blaine needs it to keep pace with Maple Grove. Loose in front of the net, and a shot and a great save off the stick of Sean Schweiger as Kaiser able to come up with it. 9:09 to go in the first period.
Yeah, that was a heck of a save there by Lachlan Kaiser, showing some great reaction time. Let's take a look at it one more time before we get to the next face-off. Yeah, you'll see Kaiser. They tried to go 5-hole on him, but Kaiser up to the task to make that save. Certainly don't want to leave a guy like Schweiger out open in the slot there for Blaine.
Puck played from the far side corner as Lindsay trying to dig it out. Braden Lindsay, it was a push toward the net, now cleared out by the Eagles. And that will be another icing. We'll bring it back into the Eagles zone. 8:55 to go here in the first period. 1-0 Eagles leading it. On the 11th of the year for Luke Delzer. Delzer had the overtime winner in a desperately needed win for Totino-Grace after giving up that 3-goal lead very late in the win over Elk River. That was just the latest in that string of unbelievable finishes that we've seen with the Eagles over these last couple weeks. There's Cole Hansen with it at the red line as he dumps it into the Eagles zone. The Bengals work it back around the net. Coming back over toward Loftus on the near side. Loftus tried to get it through, but it was blocked. It'll go deep into the Blaine zone. As Wallen will slow it down. Schoberg there to pick it up. Schoberg will have to bank it around Heffron. As Hansen can't play it ahead, it's taken away, now loose in the slot. Carried around by Loftus, and he gets it ahead. Jack Ryman into the offensive zone. Ryman with a shot pad save by Kaiser up into the far side corner as we get a whistle with 8:06 to go here in the period. So the last three games all having gone to overtime for the Eagles. The loss at Rogers. They had a lead in the third period. Rogers tied it with the goal from Grant Renai, and then the winner from Ryan Streeter in the overtime to get the Royals the win. The shot trying to slide this one through was Brzezinski as it's back out at neutral. We flipped in deep by Bernovic down to the near side corner. Bernovic now battling with Brzezinski. As Busick able to come out, he'll stretch it over to the near side. Into the offensive zone is Ben Walraff. Walraff will chase it around the net up into the far side corner. Drop it back to Mason Streeter for a shot that'll go wide down to the near side. Back out at neutral, Brzezinski trying to poke it ahead toward the red line. As Busick will set up, Busick will stretch this one into the offensive zone. As Patrick Finley trying to play it around for the Eagles down toward the near side. The deflection out front, they got it down toward Walraff. It comes down into the near side corner. 7:13 to go here in the period. The Eagles will be able to get it back out through neutral. There will be another icing. So just to finish what we were mentioning before then, the overtime loss to Rogers. Then they had the overtime game against Andover. Then it ended in a tie when it appeared that Connor Smith was going to pull that one out for the Eagles with 1:35 left. But then Andover tied it with 41 seconds remaining, and that game ended in the tie. And then, of course, the game against Elk River where they led 5-2 with about 2.5 minutes remaining. And Austin Humphrey scoring a pair to help Elk River tie it up. But then Dells are able to save the Eagles in overtime with what was then his 10th goal of the year to give the Eagles a desperately needed win in a game that looked like it was going to get away from them. It'll be played through the corner in the Eagles zone down to the near side. Under 7 minutes to go now here in the first period. And we're kind of starting to see the Bengals pushing back a bit. A lot of time in the offensive zone here over the last few minutes. If the Eagles able to get it back out through neutral. Slowing it down, here's Oliver Moore trying to thread this one through toward Connor Smith. Smith tied up with Lager on the end boards as Lager will get it back out to neutral. Howie Moore will go get it in his own zone. 6:27 to go, first period, 1-0. Luke Delzer with his 11th of the year that put the Eagles on top early in this game. It's flipped back in from the right wing side down into the Blaine zone. As here's Derek West with it. It'll be tipped ahead. There's Ryman working his way through neutral. Ryman into the offensive zone. Ryman driven to the end boards. Puck comes around toward the far side boards. There's Loftus over there to slow it down. He'll bank it off the far side boards. It's now played back by Schoberg. Into the offensive zone, here's Cole Hansen. Hansen trying to backhand this one down. It was blocked out front. Played up back up into the far side corner as Hansen will take a hit from Luke Schroeder. Be tipped behind the net. Once again, Eagles with it on the near side. Flipped out through neutral. Icing waved off. As Sam Thielen will get Streeter tied up on the end boards. Streeter will be able to poke it along. Heffron able to take it away. Heffron able to poke it down toward Rudy Majalik, but Majalik got knocked off the stick. There's Carson Rickles into the offensive zone. What a move by Rickles! And then just missing as they dropped it off in front of the net, but Carson Rickles showing you why he's such a good player right there with that little drag to generate that opportunity. Played back out into the neutral zone. Streeter will dump it in. It'll work its way off the end boards, down toward the near side. Banked off the far side board, and that'll be an icing with 4:45 to go in the first period. But once again, the Bengals starting to assert themselves in the offensive zone. Eagles leading at 1-0. And we just saw a moment ago Carson Rickles showing you some of his talents as he toe dragged in front of the net. A little drop pass, though, was kicked around and eventually out of danger.
No kidding, as we just watched that on replay. He is a very, very skilled player.
Well, it's loose in front. Still being battled for. Oh, and there's a shot that got away. Kaiser able to make the save. There's Busick in front. Will come down to the corner. Now working its way back up toward the far side. Sent down toward the near side in the neutral zone. As Bernovic will battle there. Busick and Hunter Hansen, two of those. Hunter Hansen comes away with it. He dropped it back to Busick and he scores. Zach Busick with his 6th goal of the season. The great little feed from Hunter Hansen, and the Bengals have tied the game. We kind of were talking about that offensive zone momentum, and Blaine eventually able to beat Lachlan Kaiser. Hunter Hansen setting it up with Busick, who took the shot. For Busick, that's his 6th of the year, and the game is tied with 4:12 to go in this first period.
Yeah, you kind of have the feeling that might have been coming as Blaine started to kind of take control of this one in terms of time of possession and zone time. So rewarded for their hard work.
Rickles will play it around the net. Hansen there to slow it down as he gets it back toward Ryman, and we get a whistle with 3:59 to go in the period. Though the Eagles got off to the fast start, but Blaine showing you why they were a tournament semifinalist, the third place team from last year when they beat St. Thomas Academy in the third place game at the state tournament. Of course, we talked about Brodzinski not there anymore, but still some really good players and a really good team is back into the offensive zone come the Eagles. It's knocked down by Cole Hansen. He's able to get it out to neutral. It's going to come to Carson Rickles. Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles, though, has his pocket picked as it's sent down to the near side corner. Rickles back with it. Rickles trying to get it to the far side of the net. Eagles end up with it. And through neutral ice, here's Delzer. Delzer slows it down at the red line to allow the Eagles to change. He gets it to Jack Gray. As Gray has it poked off his stick by Cam Schoberg. Play tied up on the end boards. Still battling for it. Puck is still live and eventually able to be dug out by the Eagles. Quick shot, save, net got knocked off. Net got knocked off as officials took a little while to blow that one dead, and some of the Blaine fans kind of close by us in the stands are a little bit incensed at how long it took to blow that whistle, but a face-off will come in the Bengals zone with 3:05 to go here in the first period.
That was an awfully close call there, but yeah, as you said, the net was off, so we'll remain knotted up at 1.
This whistle comes right off the face-off with 3:04 remaining. Streeter plays it around up toward the far side. Battled for in front of the Bengal bench. Now pushed into the neutral zone. Sent back into the Bengal zone where Brzezinski reverses. He gets it ahead, but it goes off the stick of into the Eagle zone and is covered up with 2:46 to go here in the period.
I think Kaiser just saw his life flash before his eyes as that was a Blaine's player streaking. And first you're going to see it right here. They almost connect on that pass, which would have created a clear breakaway to the net, but then, yeah.
Braden Lindsay, who they almost got that one to. Puck eventually worked free by the Eagles. They'll get it out to neutral. Blaine will set up in their own zone as it's sent ahead toward Lager. As Lindsay at the blue line with Sean Schweiger also down there. Bengals able to keep it in the Eagle zone. It'll work its way to the end boards. Now played around to the near side corner. 2:17 remaining in this first period. 1-1 our score. Luke Delzer for the Eagles with his 11th. And then Zach Busick with his 6th for Blaine. Being played behind the Eagle net up toward the far side corner. As Thielen has the play tied up. As Lindsay joining the fray. The Eagles eventually able to dig it free. Heffron will be pushed into the offensive zone. Heffron will get to it first as Streeter will try to keep it away from him. Heffron will just have to play it back into the corner. We just kind of got stuck there. As Oliver Moore on the end boards has it taken away by Brzezinski, and streaking in is Bernovic to take it away, and a shot saved by Wallen into the corner. Moore drops it back to the point for a shot saved cleanly by Wallen through traffic off the stick of Parker Ganaz with 1:23 to go in the period.
Wallen kind of has some unusual stats. He has an excellent goals against average of 2.40, but a little surprised by that save percentage, only .897. So I think that's one little knock on his game, is that the save percentage down a little bit, but he's certainly been a stalwart for this Bengals team. Also has a very good win-loss record at 8-3.
Bengals play it around toward the near side. It'll be worked through by Walt Raff into the offensive zone. Come up into the far side corner. Along the end boards. Dropped into the corner as Hunter Hansen was trying to center it. It'll come down to the near side. We're going to a minute in the first period. It's taken away. Busick with a shot and a save by Kaiser. So Busick bidding for his second goal of this first period.
I'm curious if Kaiser got a piece of that one there. I think he might have missed the net here. Let's watch it again. You might have had a better vantage point out of here. Again, I'm watching on like a 4-inch screen here. We'll get a look at it one more time. Yeah, I think he just ended up missing the net, which is a big break there for Totino-Grace.
As Carson Rickles scores off the centering feed from Hansen, and it's 2-1 to 2-1 Blaine leading it.
Yeah, Blaine's done a really nice job responding after that early Totino-Grace goal, as they've really taken control of this game. I mean, the Eagles have had a couple opportunities and a couple good forechecks since then, but it's been all Blaine Bengals since. So a hill to climb here for Totino-Grace, but they certainly do have the offense to get back into this one. But they have to find a way to really slow down that first line of the Bengals, as they've really been taking it to the Eagles here in this first period.
So Carson Rickles with his 17th of the year as he takes the team lead back from Cole Hansen. And the Bengals lead for the first time in the game with under a minute to go in this first period. The Eagles send it deep into the Blaine zone.
Peelan almost forced a turnover and knocked it in the net. That was a good hustle play by him.
Krasinski was able to keep it away. Now flip back out to neutral ice. Ryman on the near side. Can't slow it down. There's a shot that'll go wide of the net by Jack Gray up into the far side boards. They'll get it back toward Rickles. That'll be out of his reach, and that'll be an icing with 23 seconds remaining in this first period.
Well, this is the line you kind of count on for Totino-Grace after giving up a couple of late goals in the first period. They got their first group back there on the ice with Kyle Heffron, among others, for Totino-Grace. They're certainly going to have Jack Gray taking the face-off, who's a good center for the team.
Blaine plays the face-off around, back to Rickles. Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles working his way through, is sent down into the near side corner. It'll sent to the far side for a shot. That was blocked in front off the stick of Streeter. 5 seconds in the period. Keelan will play it in, and the period comes to an end. So the Eagles got off to a good start, but Blaine showing off that championship pedigree, responding in a big way with goals by Busick and Carson Rickles, and they'll go into the first intermission with the lead at 2-1. So the Eagles going to have to find a way to stem that momentum. We saw it in the beginning. It was just kind of a slow but steady turn. The Eagles got off to the good start with the goal by Delzer, but then Blaine just pushed back, and you just kind of watched them steadily take the momentum until they eventually tied and then took the lead.
Yeah, they're certainly looking like a state tournament team out here, despite only having a sort of pedestrian 10-6 record, but they looked awfully good here in period number one, at least from my eyes, the first time I've seen them this season. Yeah, this looks like a really disciplined team and showing some good character responding after giving up that early goal.
Absolutely. So we'll talk about Blaine and their very, very difficult schedule going forward to the 10-6, a little bit deceptive for those of you who might be listening at home. So we'll talk about that, though, after this intermission, after one period here on the TG Network. 2-1, Blaine leading Totino-Grace. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so to resume your coverage. Welcome back to the Brooklyn Park Community Center as the Bengals leading the Eagles 2-1 after one period. The Eagles got off to a strong start with the 11th goal from Luke Delzer. Then the Bengals steadily pushed back. Got the tying goal from Zach Busick, his 6th of the year. And then Carson Rickles with his 17th, putting the Bengals ahead. Along with Al Finley, Brett Johnson, I'm Patrick Lulia. The A-team back at the Brooklyn Park Rec Center this evening as it's dumped down into the Eagle zone as Howie Moore gets it toward Thielen. As Hansen was trying to take it away, it's played up toward the far side as Heffron playing it into the neutral zone. Down to the near side, will go deep into the Bengals zone for icing with 16:41 to go in the period. 2-1, Blaine leading it.
Well, if you're Totino-Grace, you have to keep expecting that you're going to see waves of Blaine attack, and you just kind of have to do what you did against Andover, which is play good defense, get good goaltending, and take advantage of your chances in transition. That's how Totino-Grace was able to get that tie against a very, very talented Andover squad.
Parker Ganaz trying to flip this one ahead toward Jack Gray. It's intercepted out front by Schoberg as he plays it up toward the far side. Bengals through neutral, 3-on-2 the other way. As Rickles drops it off for a shot by Hansen and a save, rebound, they score. As Carson Rickles cleaned up the rebound. That's his 2nd goal of the game. It's 3-1 Blaine.
Yeah, the Bengals are starting to take control of this one right here. We're going to see him just here on this breakout, and not a whole lot of resistance there by Totino-Grace. They were a little late there on their back check, and their forwards kind of led their defensemen out to dry right there. I'll watch it again on that breakout. And, yeah, when you give Blaine that much space entering the zone, more often than not, they're going to burn you, and that's exactly what we saw right there. So Blaine takes a 3-1 lead.
So Cole Hansen took the initial shot. The rebound cleaned up by Carson Rickles. He's now up to 18 goals on the season. Blaine extending their lead out to 3-1. They've scored the last 3 after falling behind 1-0 early. There's a shot. They score as Luke Delzer was able to follow up. That one might have gotten through the 5-hole. I heard it hit pad.
Oh, so did I. Well, let's take a look at it right here on the replay.
And a huge goal for Totino-Grace, as Delzer has now scored the last 3 Totino-Grace goals going back to the win over Elk River.
Yeah, let's watch it again here. Yeah, you're right. Delzer has scored the last 3 goals. Watch it right here. Yeah, it did hit a, well, watch it again one more time. It did get a piece there of the Blaine goaltender and go through his 5-hole, but what a huge response there by Totino-Grace. As I was going to make the comment that, boy, they were in kind of a dangerous position and really in danger of falling out of contention, but that's a big one to get him right back in it.
So Delzer with his 12th of the year, as here's Connor Smith into the offensive zone. He was trying to center it for Delzer, but it was well out in front of him up in the far side corner. Played around toward the near side. As Jack Ryman also picked up an assist on that last goal by Carson Rickles. Comes Blaine back into the offensive zone. There's a shot by Lindsay, pad save, rebound, follow up, they score! Sean Schweiger was there to collect the loose change, and Blaine immediately restores a 2-goal lead. That'll be the 3rd of the year for Schweiger. It's 4-2. So,
yeah. A game of momentum switches, isn't it?
And that's going to be it for Lachlan Kaiser, as Wes Johnson is going to come back into the game, coming in with a 2-5 record of 4.17 goals against. That was as of the Elk River game, so it's up to 3-5 on the season now.
Like Kaiser right there, yeah, just gave up that juicy rebound. I thought he played a very good first period for Totino-Grace, but yeah, he certainly kind of had some struggles here in the 2nd period, including giving up that juicy rebound. So chance for him to kind of regroup. You know, he'll get another chance to play this season, but Wes Johnson takes over for the Eagles.
As here's Jack Ryman into the offensive zone, and a shot deflected wide as here's Heffron getting it back toward Thielen into the offensive zone. That's going to be an icing. We're going to bring it back into the Eagle zone with 15:03 to go here in the 2nd period. Blaine leading it 4-2 as Blaine has already added a pair here in the middle frame, sandwiched around a goal by Luke Delzer, which looked at the time like that was going to be a huge momentum swinging goal, but then the Bengals able to get it right back on the goal by Sean Schweiger. It's a shot that'll be deflected off of Rickles up into the corner. It's Hansen trying to get it back down low, sent into the neutral zone. As Loftus will go back to pick it up. He'll play it back into the neutral zone as Moore trying to play it in deep from the red line. Bengals will collect it deep in their own end. 14:40 to go here in the second period as it's played over toward the near side. As Ryman with a shot saved by Wes Johnson up into the netting. Wes Johnson, who did not start the game, but coming in after the fourth Blaine goal, able to make a stick save there on Ryman's shot. Face-off will be to his left here.
And just to continue on kind of what I was saying about Kaiser, not necessarily a bad game that he played, but sometimes you even switch your goaltender when you maybe want to give your team a little bit of a boost, either offensively or defensively, and maybe that's kind of what they're doing as well, telling their guys that you can't be hanging the goaltender out to dry. That was, I think, more what happened on the third goal that Blaine scored. Just unfortunately on the fourth one for Kaiser, he gave up that juicy rebound. But either way, yeah, the Eagles are going to have to improve on trying to keep the puck out of the net, because they brought up early in the game. It's kind of been one of their Achilles heels as they come into the contest, averaging giving up 3.87 per game. Would be another really insane stat to look at, would be their goals against average against teams that are above 500, because I imagine that would be a ugly number for the Eagles.
With Johnson making a nice save on Hunter Hansen just a moment ago. It comes down into the near side corner. Delzer getting it back out to neutral as Blaine has a tip back into the Eagle zone. It's down toward Luke Schroeder on the near side. Schroeder will bank this one around Busick as Blaine plays it back deep into the Eagle zone. Patrick Finley there to pick it up. Still bank it ahead, able to be held by the Bengals, and a shot tip just wide out front. But they got it out front to Ben Walraff, sent into the neutral zone. Connor Smith trying to knock it down. He'll play it in deep to the Bengal zone. Or Brzezinski there to pick it up for the Bengals. As he'll get it ahead and quickly through neutral. Here's Busick. Busick is tripped up. That's going to be a penalty here against Totino-Grace. And our first power play of the game, our second power play of the game will go to the Bengals.
Yeah, Blaine is just playing like a veteran team that knows how to respond when they face adversity, because each time we've seen Totino-Grace deliver a blow to Blaine, they certainly respond. They got that fourth goal, and now they're going on the power play and really have a chance to expand this lead. They come into this game with a very good power play unit, 30% on the season. Meanwhile, the TG penalty kill unit, as we've mentioned all year long, very good, coming in at 86.8%.
Here's Rickles. Gets it back to Loftus, who's trying to tip it down low as Ryman took a whack at it, missed it as the net got knocked off. Schroeder for hooking the call. 1:49 to go in the Bengal power play. Their first of the evening. The Eagles are 0 for 1 with the man advantage.
By the way, any surprise, Rickles is leading the team in power play goals with 6. So certainly he's going to be a dangerous man on a man advantage for the Bengals.
Rickles already with 2 goals tonight. Battled for in the corner. As Hansen able to dig it out to Rickles. Rickles will drop it back to Loftus. Now takes it back over to Loftus. Loftus trying to slide this one through. Rebound just tipped wide by Ryman, as that one might have gotten the pad on it by Johnson. Rickles, there's a centering feed. That's ripped wide by Cole Hansen. Blaine just peppering away at this point. It's back over to Rickles in the near circle. Rickles centering feed. They score. It's a power play goal for Cole Hansen. That'll be his 17th of the year. It's 5-2 Bengals.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Just some excellent puck movement there by the Blaine Bengals. We're going to see some great puck movement here on the replay, out to the point, across, and to the slot. Goal there for Blaine. Just overall, not just good puck movement, but quick puck movement as well, which I think is really key, because they're not taking their time once they receive that pass on the power play. They know exactly what they want to do with it, and they've put the Eagles in quite a hole here, down 5-2.
Largest lead of the game for the Bengals as Bernovic coming in offside. And we will have a neutral zone face-off with 12:40 to go. So the The big guns have been blazing tonight for the Bengals as Carson Rickles has a pair, and now Cole Hansen draws back to within one of tying Rickles for the team lead with his 17th of the goal that came on the power play just a moment ago. Played up toward the far side boards.
How would you like to be Wes Johnson, by the way? You're sitting on the bench the whole game, then you got to come in here and get peppered by Blaine shots. That's certainly got to be a challenge for him. I think you're getting the night off, then you got to go in there and you're just getting tons and tons of shots from the Bengals.
Just a tough night all around for the Eagles so far. Got off to such a great start, but Blaine showing you why they're a championship contender, why they were third place last year at the state tournament. It's a shot at point blank, saved by Wallen, played up onto the far side boards.
And by the way, we shouldn't count the Eagles out, as we have seen some really odd things in the past 3 TG games.
Absolutely. As Blaine quickly back in as Hansen drops it off toward Walraff. Stretch pass into the offensive zone. Here's Delzer. Delzer in all alone, and he scores! Luke Delzer with the hat trick. That's 4 straight Totino-Grace goals scored by Luke Delzer. It's 5-3.
Oh, such a good pass. It fooled our cameraman, Al, as he wasn't even able to catch that one. But, yeah, Delzer is just on fire right now. 4 straight goals dating back to that last game. And as we were talking about, we've seen odd stuff happen here at the Brooklyn Clark Ice Arena the last 2 games, including Elk River scoring 3 goals in the final 2 minutes of regulation to send that game to overtime. So, got a feeling that's not going to be the last goal scored by the Totino-Grace Eagles.
Nope.
The problem is they got to find a way to keep the puck out of their own net.
As Ganaz sets up behind his net, gets it over to Delzer. Delzer banks it off the far side board, trying to get it to Connor Smith. Delzer back into the offensive zone as he's driven to the end boards. Delzer battling with Schoberg. It's taken away by the Bengals. Stretch pass through neutral ice, pushed into the Eagles zone down to the near side. It was off the stick of Schweiger. Schweiger, who has one of the 5 Bengal goals in the game, as Delzer almost able to take it away. It is now with Oliver Moore. Moore will drop it in the offensive zone for a shot by Smith. Rebound comes down to the near side boards. Eagles able to maintain possession as Schroeder winds up for a shot that'll go over the net off the glass. Now played back out to neutral ice as Schroeder trying to pin Lindsay up against the end boards. We're going to get a whistle and I think a penalty going to come here.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be against Blaine. So, yeah, as we were saying, don't hold your breath here on Totino-Grace. They're down by 2 goals. Now they're going to get a power play and a chance to really get back into this one. The Eagles are 0 for 1 on the night so far.
It looks like another nail-biting, unbelievable finish might be in store for us. Still 10:41 to go here in the second period. 5-3, Blaine leading it. So we kind of talk about, it's kind of going both ways, that every time we think Blaine puts the game away, the Eagles come storming back and get right back in it.
Or just when we think Totino-Grace is back in the game, then Blaine comes with a burst of energy. So, oh, look at that pass.
Rush pass into the offensive zone for Rickles, and he got tied up by Delzer. A great play there by Luke Delzer. Ganaz back into the offensive zone. Ganaz drops it off behind him. Trying to get it over toward Thielen. It's intercepted again. And a nice play by Delzer to keep that one from being sent in deep. Delzer with it. Delzer sends it to the circle. It's a shot that's loose in front and down to the near side boards. It'll be tipped into the Eagles zone by Rickles, as the Bengals were really looking for the shorthanded aggression there. As Ganaz sets up with the puck. Ganaz sends it toward the far side. Thielen will get around Busick. Busick, though, able to poke the puck away. Here's Heffron with it. Heffron with a shot and a save by Wallen as he's able to cover up the rebound. 9:38 to go here in the second period. 5-3. Blaine leading it. 57 seconds to go in the Eagle power play. We have another whale of a game on our hands. Luke Delzer has a hat trick. He scored the last 4 Totino-Grace goals going back to the overtime winner against Elk River. Heffron slide it under. The shot that'll be tipped wide of the net. The Bengals shorthanded again the other way. Oh, what a move here by Busick. He sends it far side for a shot just wide by Hunter Hansen as we get a whistle. And what a great setup, shorthanded. Busick and Hansen, we've already seen that combination tonight as Hansen set up a Busick goal that opened the scoring for Blaine.
Boy. Look at that move right there. And then they're going to see them have an open net momentarily, but good recovery there by Johnson and also Oliver Moore for the Eagles.
The Eagles control the face-off. Heffron will set up behind his own net. 35 seconds in the power play. Heffron sends it toward the far side. Will be sent back into the neutral zone by Blaine. Eagles will have to reset as Smith will just dump it in. 20 seconds to go in the power play. 9 minutes in the second period as Blaine clears it the length of the ice. This is Howie Moore with it as Busick trying to make a play on him shorthanded. Heffron starting his way back up ice. Heffron send this one through neutral as it goes off the stick of Ryman. Ryman will play it back around toward the near side as the power play comes to an end. Blaine back in the offensive zone. Hunter Hansen with a shot saved by Wes Johnson and held on with 8:35 in the period. So even though the Bengals were shorthanded, did not stop them from aggressively pursuing those offensive opportunities. Back at full strength with a face-off deep in the Eagles zone. The Bengals control the face-off. Shot wide of the net by Streeter. Will go up into the far side corner. There's Schroeder putting a big hit on behind the net. Schroeder now battling Schweiger, one of those down there. Schweiger will be able to play it back through down to the near side. As Patrick Finley trying to play it ahead. Can't get it around Lindsay. It's Lindsay trying to dig it out of the corner. Lindsay, Schweiger down there. Gray able to get it out for the Eagles. As they'll poke it out toward neutral ice. We're under 8 minutes to go here in the period. Lindsay driven up to the far side by Schroeder. Those two push and shove a little bit after the puck was sent through the corner. Gray with it. Gray getting it ahead towards Stephen Golden. Golden, though, has it picked at the blue line. Along the near side in the Blaine zone, sent up toward the far side. They get it around Oliver Moore as Rickles back on the ice trying to get it ahead. As Ryman will try to play it in, but he can't. As Rickles will reset with it at neutral. Rickles into the offensive zone. Oh, what a move by Rickles. Couldn't quite get the puck back on his stick for a shot as Johnson poked it away. It's driven down to the near side corner as Ryman toward Hansen. Hansen will play it back along. Centering feed sneaks through down to the near side boards as Golden able to clear. And that will be an icing with 7:02 to go in the second period, but that top line for the Bengals on the ice wreaking havoc once again. Along with Brett Johnson and Al Finley, I'm Patrick Lilia here with you from the Brooklyn Park Community Center. Blaine 5, Totino-Grace 3, with under 7 minutes to go here in the second period. There's Parker Ganaz with it for the Eagles. Sent up toward the far side, almost intercepted by Rickles. It's carried in by Howie Moore. He'll take a shot that's held on to by Ryan Wallen. And a face-off coming deep in the Bengals zone. 6:44 to go in the second period. Oliver Moore on the face-off as it's controlled by Blaine. They send it down toward the near side. They'll get it into the neutral zone. Trying to force it around Delzer. It'll be sent deep into the Eagle zone and working its way up through the far side. Will come on to Oliver Moore as Moore gets a nice move around Busick, and then Busick takes the puck back. Drops it down toward the near side. As Hunter Hansen pinned up by Parker Ganaz in the far side, in the near side boards as Walraff has to play it back out to neutral. Dumped into the Eagle zone once again. That's Howie Moore plays it through the near side corner. Delzer getting it back through the far side. As Hunter Hansen trying to take it away in the corner. Busick can't get it either. Now Busick does have it. He battles with Bernovic and Gray. Howie Moore with it now behind the net. As he almost has his pocket bit. Oh, what a great centering feed on the takeaway. Couldn't quite get it on the stick of Hansen. Puck is still loose. It was a great centering play by Busick. Almost no look. But if Hansen had gotten that one on his stick, he would have had a point-blank shot with nothing in front of him. But it just kind of hopped his stick a little bit. Eagles now back out at neutral as Gray plays it ahead. Trying to get it to Heffron. It's intercepted. Play to the end boards. 5:20 to go in the second period. Blaine 5 and Grace 3. As Heffron able to hold. He plays it through the far side corner. On the far side corner, Lager with it. Lager trying to clear. It's able to be held again by Heffron, but now Blaine with it. As Lindsay into the offensive zone. Lindsay driven down to the near side corner by Schroeder. As Lager trying to get it back to the blue line. Driven back up into the far side corner where Schweiger getting tied up with Finley. Finley trying to poke it along. He'll get it into the neutral zone as Heffron got tied up there. Delzer played it ahead, but Blaine taking it back. Backhanded ahead. It'll go back into the Eagle zone as here's Finley with it. Finley playing it ahead as Ryman couldn't quite get a hold of it, but it was sent back into the Eagle zone. Cleared the length by Grace. Icing waved off with 4:20 to go here in the second period as the Bengals will play it from the far side corner. They'll play it back toward the near side, start their way up ice. Stretch pass off the stick of Rickles. Icing waved off once again. He centers it back toward Ryman. Ryman sending it cross ice for Streeter, but it was out of his reach. Goes into the neutral zone. Bengals having to reset back at neutral. Off toward Ryman. Ryman sends it up into the bench, and we'll have a face-off with 3:56 to go here in the second period. Blaine leading at 5-3. Eagles led 1-0. Blaine got a pair in the first, scored the first two in the second. Luke Delzer got a goal to make it 4-2. Blaine added another 5-2, and then Delzer again. Delzer already accumulating a hat trick by the midpoint of the second period. He scored the last four Totino-Grace goals going back to the overtime winner against Elk River. It's on the stick of Delzer. Delzer, though, coming in offside as Oliver Moore had a little bit of a head. We talked about Blaine. They've got a big matchup with Maple Grove on Thursday. Blaine has already beaten Maple Grove once. That was a matchup at Fogarty Arena, so now they'll have to go into the Maple Grove Community Center and beat the Crimson. Those two tied in points in conference play right now, so that'll be a big win matchup for sectionals as the Bengals are trying a drop pass over to Hansen. It was Hunter Hansen, should say, as it was out of his reach and off his stick. Eagles back into the offensive zone. As Delzer circling as he's driven by Streeter up into the far side corner. Up on the far side, Blaine playing it back through neutral. Quickly into the offensive zone. Here's Hansen. Hansen trying to go to the net as Ganaz was able to tie him up from behind. Delzer through neutral with it. Re-stripped at the blue line. Thielen with it. Thielen, though, getting knocked off the puck as well and down toward the center of the ice. Eagles back at neutral with it. It's banked off toward the near side. Blaine can't gain possession of it. Here's Thielen back into the offensive zone with Bernovic. As it's loose in front and just tipped away. As where I was saying, they almost got that one through as it's played up onto the far side boards. There's a shot blocked in front off the stick of Patrick Finley. 2:30 to go here in the second period. Played around the net once again. Eagles still with it. Going to get it back toward the near side as Delzer will play it through the corner. Heffron up on the far side. Heffron circling. Heffron trying to get around.
Did he score?
Yeah, he scored. Oh my goodness, as Heffron was working his way around Finn Loftus and was able to beat him and beat the goaltender. It's 5-4 with 2:08 to go in the period.
That's funny. You and I both had the same reaction. That's kind of the around the world play there for Kyle Heffron. Slow it down once we get to the play. Look at how Look at how long right here he's going to have the puck on his stick. And yeah, he just beats the goaltender on the wraparound, but that is some tremendous burst used there by Kyle Heffron, and also taking advantage of his long length with that big, well over 6 foot frame that he has. And boy, look at that. Down to a 1-goal game, as we talked about. Funny stuff happens here in these Totino-Grace games in 2020.
As Heffron has his 16th of the year, it's flipped back into the Eagle zone and covered up by Wes Johnson. And we know Blaine has scored a goal against Johnson since he came into the game, but he's also come up with some really big saves as well. And you kind of think, you were talking, Brett, about kind of that, just getting a little bit of a burst of energy perhaps by swapping out your goaltender. And I think Johnson's given them that. He's made some pretty big saves since he came into the game, despite giving up the 1 goal as well. Schweiger battling on the end boards as Howie Moore able to come away with it, as Moore still fighting with Schweiger. Schweiger and Moore in the corner. Gray joining the fray. Let's flip back out to neutral ice. Heffron's going to get to it first. Heffron into the offensive zone, but then he has his pocket picked. Played in the direction of Lindsay. Lindsay into the offensive zone with Moore in front of him. He'll take a shot blocked by Howie Moore out of play. 1:31 to play here in the second period.
I just want to remind everyone that we have plenty of highlights from tonight's game posted on the Totino-Grace hockey account. That's at TG Eagle Hockey. Plenty of saves and goals as well. Make sure you follow at TG Eagle Hockey. And oh, look at that. The clock's been running for a good 20 seconds, and I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Not sure if that's really going to favor any team. If anything, I would say that almost favor Blaine, since the Eagles have kind of had the momentum for the past few minutes.
Hooked back out to neutral ice. We're down to 1:13 to go here in the second period. It'll work its way behind the Blaine net. Still being battled for in the corner is Connor Smith, one of those. It's played back behind the net down toward the near side. We're under a minute to go here in the period. Blaine back with it in their own zone as it's played ahead and flipped in deep to the Eagles zone. It'll get by Johnson. Tried to get a glove on it, but it kind of hopped under it as Rickles and Hansen in the corner battling as Oliver Moore able to get it free. Connor Smith on the end boards. Smith almost took a big shot there from Hansen. Hansen back with the puck behind the line, centering feet, and a great save on the drive by Rickles.
That is one of the best saves that Wes Johnson is going to have on the season. I'm not sure if we're going to have time to show the replay now, but yeah, that was a whale of a save on a one-timer.
Ryman will take the face-off against Gray. Blaine able to control the face-off. Shot through traffic is saved. Rebound cleared out to Delzer, and he gets it into the neutral zone. Blaine taking control back. Trying to play it up toward Cole Hansen. This is going to be an icing, and we're going to have a face-off deep in the Blaine zone with 10 seconds to go in the period. 5-4, Blaine leading it. Blaine was leading 5-2 earlier in the period, but as has happened many times over the last few games, a lot of wild things have happened on the TG network. 5 seconds to go in the period as Howie Moore will see this go off the stick of Delzer, and the period will end. Some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Refs trying to get everybody separated. Looked like that was Schoberg and Gray getting into it. So the period comes to an end. Looked like Blaine had seized control of the game. They were leading 5-2, but then Delzer and Heffron get it down to 5-4, and we'll head into the second intermission with the Bengals leading by just 1 at 5-4. We're going to take a break here on the TG Network. Come back with your third period in about 10 minutes or so. We welcome you back inside the Brooklyn Park Community Center. It's 5-4 Blaine after 2 periods. Wild back and forth affair where Eagles got out to an early lead. Blaine had the lead after 1 period. Blaine led after 2 periods, extended their lead to 5-2 early in the third, but then Luke Delzer finishing off a hat trick and what would conclude as a run of 4 straight goals for the Eagles, going back to the win over Elk River last week. And then Kyle Heffron getting his 16th of the year drew the Eagles within 5-4. So we're on our way to another unbelievable finish here on the TG Network after 3 progressively wilder games over our last 3 broadcasts. The overtime loss to Rogers, the tie against Andover, the win over Elk River. And nobody knows what we've got in store for this third period as Blaine controlled the face-off. Loftus playing it over toward the near side. Loftus back in his own zone with it. Gives it over to Schoberg as Schoberg tried to get this one through to Hansen, but it was out of his reach. It's going to be a nice thing, and we'll have a face-off in the Blaine zone. 16:49 to play in regulation.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we could have something crazy like a 10-9 finish with the way some of these recent Totino-Grace games have gone. I won't even make predictions or say I doubt we'll see a 10-9 game, because the second I say that, we probably will, just because we've had wacky stuff happen the past few weeks on the TG Network. Not that it's a bad thing. I've thoroughly enjoyed all these games we've been covering this season, especially the last 3, but I'm sure we're still in store for some more crazy stuff in this one.
Heffron had a shot deflected out of play off the face-off, so we'll line up again to the left of Wallen. Face-off controlled by Heffron. He sends it up into the far side corner. Schoberg trying to bank it out. It's able to be held as it's tipped in out front off the stick of Thielen. And Wallen again able to make a big save. Getting it over toward Rickles. Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles was trying to drag his way through, but it was taken away by Howie Moore as it's played up onto the far side corner. Eagles 2-on-3 the other way as Heffron will dump it into the near side corner. As Schoberg and Gray will battle there. It'll be pushed up slowly behind the net. Thielen up in the corner trying to get it back to Gray as Schoberg pushes him out of the play. Heffron ends up with the puck. A centering feed was intercepted. Here's Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles drops a centering pass. They score! I believe that'll be Cole Hansen with his 2nd goal of the game, and a huge goal for Blaine to head off this momentum. They now lead it 6-4.
Well, it all kind of started there with a turnover by Totino-Grace in their own zone. I'll go ahead and watch it on the replay.
So Cole Hansen is once again tied Rickles for the team lead in goals, as Rickles went ahead by 2, 18-16 with the pair he had earlier in the game, and Hansen has now scored 2 to get back to match Rickles with 18 apiece.
Yeah, watching that on replay, it was just a centering pass that got picked off by Totino-Grace, and yeah, you give Blaine any room on a turnover, they're probably going to have bad things happen to you, and that's exactly what occurred there. So 6-4 Blaine.
As Busick gets it back out through the neutral zone as here's Hunter Hansen in. Hunter Hansen with a shot wide of the net down to the near side. As Blaine has come out rapid fire here in the third period, trying to put this game back out of reach, if there is such a thing with what we've seen the last week and a half, but nonetheless they now lead by 2 once again. 16:08 to play in regulation. Backhand shot saved by Wallen off the little flip by Oliver Moore out front. There's Brzezinski on the near side trying to get it through neutral. It'll go out of the reach of Walraff for icing. Face off deep in the Blaine zone with 14:58 to play in regulation. Lindsay will take the face off against Hegedus. He's down to the near side. Excuse me, against Miolik. My apologies. It's played into the neutral zone. Rickles and Schoberg getting the assists on the Hansen goals. It flipped down to the near side boards. And the top line for Blaine has just been unbelievable again this evening. 2 goals from Rickles, 2 goals from Hansen. Blaine comes out of the corner with it. Here's Schoberg working his way up ice. He'll bring it into the offensive zone. Schoberg will take a shot that's sent up out of play with 14:23 to go here in the final period. Zach Busick has a goal. And Sean Schweiger, the other goal for the Bengals. That top line back out there for Blaine as Ryman will take the face-off in the offensive zone. Face-off played through the corner. Back up toward the near side and intercepted by Rickles. He'll play it through the corner. It'll go back behind the Eagle net. Down toward the near side. Pushed in toward Johnson, who will kind of grab it as it slid by. And we'll have a face-off in the Eagle zone with 14:09 in regulation. Blaine 6 and Grace 4. Blown dead off the face-off, so we'll do it again. Played down toward the near side. As Streeter was able to hold. Ryman up in the far side corner. We'll play it back down toward the near side. As Loftus will send one wide off the glass. Back over to Loftus. Loftus trying to slide it under. Winding up for a blast was Hansen. Rebound was loose in the slot. Able to be held again by Loftus as he tried to get it back toward Hansen. Ryman with a shot that'll be tipped wide. The Eagles trying to get it through neutral as Loftus was able to get in the way. Rickles will tip it back towards Streeter as Streeter will be driven deep into the offensive zone by Heffron. Streeter, though, will get it off ahead for Hansen. Hansen up the right wing, trying to get it back toward Ryman in the center of the ice, and here come the Eagles. Thielen drops it to Heffron. Heffron with a shot saved by Wallen. Goes to the end boards. Pushed through the slot. Ryman getting it toward Rickles. Rickles to Hansen, who was offside, and we'll have a face-off with 13:09 to go in the third period.
As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, a very critical game for both teams in terms of Section 5 AA seeding, even though both teams are unlikely to leapfrog one another. It is kind of Blaine playing for that number 1 seed in Section 5. Well, I think for the Eagles, their goal is certainly to avoid being a number 4 or number 5 seed and avoid that very dangerous matchup in the quarterfinals.
Busick gets it ahead into the offensive zone for Walraff. Walraff laying it up into the far side corner. Eagles will set up in their own end. Stretch pass down to the near side. Puck was played with a high stick as Blaine touches up, so we'll carry it into their zone. We have a second. Coming up Thursday night, we're back here for the final game of the homestand as the Eagles take on Academy of Holy Angels.
I'll tell you what, Academy of Holy Angels, they've been down for a good decade or so, but they've certainly been playing some better hockey this season, which is good to see. And remember, Holy Angels was a big power back in the early and mid-2000s, and they've had some troubles over the past decade or so, but it's good to see that program going in the right direction, and they're certainly going to present a challenge to Totino-Grace on Thursday.
That'll be Thursday night at 7 o'clock here on the TG Network when the Eagles take on Academy of Holy Angels. Played up into the far side corner. Eagles able to take it away. A shot that'll go wide of the net.
That was almost misplayed into the back of the net. Lucky there for Blaine.
Delzer with a shot, turnaround off the turnover. A shot had to be saved by Walwyn. Delzer up in the corner with it. Working his way through. Delzer, backhand shot was just blocked by Brzezinski. It'll end up in the far side corner. Pushed into the neutral zone. As Hunter Hansen was trying to take it away, it's ended up back in the Blaine zone. West played it to the near side. Quickly through neutral ice is Busick as he had his pocket picked in the offensive zone. Played up into the far side corner. Stretch pass down toward the near side, a little bit wide of Bernovic as Bernovic battles with Brzezinski as it's played through the corner, back up toward the far side. Back out into the neutral zone, intercepted by Brzezinski. He'll get it into the neutral zone before it's chipped back in. Brzezinski will play this one through to Schoberg, who will try to bank it ahead toward Schweiger. Schweiger can't clear the zone, though. Now Schoberg back with it with Brnovic all over him, but he's able to outrun Brnovic. He gains the offensive zone. A turnaround shot was saved. It's down into the near side corner. 11:03 to go here in regulation. Eagles will get it back to the neutral zone as Loftus trying to get it ahead before he got shoved off by Golden. Lager into the offensive zone, trying to sneak it toward Lindsay. Back come the Eagles through neutral. As Gray had his pocket picked, it would have come in offside. Back into the offensive zone for a shot wide to the net. He's able to be held on the near side corner.
I heard a little goalpost on that, too. I think that might have glanced off the pipe, but certainly a close chance there for the Bengals.
It was Cole Hansen who took that shot. Here's Loftus playing it in deep to the Eagle zone. 10:22 to go here in regulation. 6-4, Bengals leading it. Played back around the net, down toward the near side. Through the corner. Reversing direction with it is Hansen. He gets it to Ryman. Ryman with a shot wide of the net. As Rickles was in the area looking for it on the far side of the net. As Loftus again able to hold. There's a shot blocked in traffic. Comes down to the near side. The Eagles will stretch this one through neutral as Thielen was tied up by Streeter and Hansen. Played back out to neutral ice. 9:40 to play here in regulation. 6-4, Blaine leading it. 2 goals for Rickles, 2 goals for Cole Hansen. Additional goals by Busick and Schweiger. Oh, what a move here by Heffron, but a great save by Wallen. As that little quick shot as he drove in at point blank, but Wallen was able to make the save this time. For the Eagles in the game, 3 goals from Delzer and 1 from Heffron.
We got a delayed penalty against Totino-Grace as well, so that's certainly going to put them behind the 8 ball. Really cannot afford to take a penalty when you only have a little over 9 minutes to play in regulation. You're already down by 2 goals, so challenge will certainly be in front of Totino-Grace. Of course, they are a potent team, shorthanded. They do have overall 6 goals on the season, led by Kyle Heffron with 2. So I doubt they would be that aggressive on the penalty kill, at least against a very talented Blaine squad. Well, especially with Heffron being the guy that's in the penalty box, but have to kill this off. Can't get ahead of yourselves if you're Totino-Grace.
Well, Blaine has a power play goal in the game. It was for Hansen. 9:07 to play here in regulation as it's sent deep into the Totino-Grace zone, the Blaine zone. As Delzer getting tied up with Brzezinski. Here comes Busick. Busick into the offensive zone. Busick driving toward the net, and he wasn't quite able to get a shot away. Comes loose in the slot. It's Thielen. Thielen winding up for a drive from the blue line that was kicked aside by Wallen. Busick with it deep in his own zone with Thielen in front of him. Busick keeps working his way through neutral. He'll play it into the Eagle zone just past the midpoint of the third period. 1:15 to go in the power play. Blaine 6 and Grace 4. Battled for on the end boards. Intercepted out front, and Lindsay just pushed one wide. Excuse me, that was Brzezinski who just pushed one wide. Played back around the net. And deep into the Blaine zone. Wallen out of his net. So we'll get it off for Streeter. Smith was surveying, working a little bit there as they get it to Brzezinski. Brzezinski into the offensive zone. Brzezinski around the net, trying to drop it off for Rickles. It's back to the near side circle. Now sent back to the far side for a shot and a save. Rebound still loose in the crease and cleared. 25 seconds to go on the power play. This Loftus back to get it deep in his own end. Blaine looking for that one last rush on the power play. 15 seconds to go with the man advantage. Loftus. Make it to the Rickles on the far side. Rickles with a shot saved wide of the net. The power play about to come to an end. 7:12 remaining. As Ryman with a shot wide and held on to with 7:08 remaining. The power play is over. And the Eagles with an important penalty kill.
And certainly helped by this save you're going to see in just a second from Wes Johnson after some great puck movement there by Blaine. But Johnson doing a nice job reading that and making a good save.
Face off, pushed down toward the near side. Eagles will carry it around their net. Flipped ahead. As Bernovic at his pocket pick, trying to get the offensive zone, and Rickles will come away with it. Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles down to the near side. Listen back over to the far side. A shot is loose in front and able to be held onto by Johnson as Schoberg initiated that with that long shot from the blue line. Johnson able to find the rebound as there were several navy and powder jerseys swarming the area. 6:44 to go here in regulation. Comes down to the near side boards off the face-off. Schroeder up in the far side corner, trying to get it off for Golden. It's taken away, turnaround shot. Lindsay was saved by Wes Johnson from in front of the Totino-Grace bench. Off the end board, it works its way into the corner. 6:20 to play in regulation. Blaine 6, Grace 4. Back into the offensive zone. Here's Smith. Smith with a nice move. Smith with a shot that was partially tipped from in front and then intercepted in front by Schoberg. Schoberg with a couple of nice defensive plays. Will get it down to the near side as Lager plays it in deep, up out of play with 6:01 to go. We were talking about Holy Angels and how some of their key players started out as freshmen. Owen Neuwarth, Noah Griswold, Blauer. They kind of went through some growing pains, but really led to the resurrection of the Holy Angels program over these last couple of years. I know we were kind of covering them a little bit as freshmen a couple years ago when you and I were doing some games from the Richfield Ice Arena.
Yeah, the only unfortunate part for Holy Angels is that they just play in a brutal section, so they may not make a whole lot of noise in the postseason, just that they are playing in the same section that features teams like Blake, Edina, Benilde St. Margaret's, Wayzata, Cretin, Durham Hall, but they've certainly improved this season, and they'll be a fun squad to see play against Totino-Grace.
Definitely, and if you think about it, the way Edina's not having the most up year ever, a good chance you think Holy Angel's going to end up with a home game, perhaps in sectionals.
Boy, when was the last time Edina had to play a sectional road game? There's a trivia question for you right there.
Face-off is played up onto the far side corner. Along the far side boards through the neutral zone. It's played down toward the near side by Streeter. Bernovic, one of those fighting for the puck. 5:33 remaining in regulation. Blaine leading it 6-4 as a shot by Hansen is held on to by Johnson with 5:26 remaining in regulation.
You kind of get the feeling here that the game has settled down over the past 5 to 7 minutes, and it's only a 2-goal deficit, even though it kind of feels like Blaine's a little bit in control of this one, but we're not quite playing at the frenetic pace that we saw back in the second period. So, boy, just one break goes to Totino-Grace's way. They can pop one in. That would certainly put the pressure on the Bengals.
Ryman pushes it up into the corner off the face-off. Eagles around the near side. We send back in. Here's a shot tipped up into the corner off the stick of Rickles, and it'll go out of play with 5:14 to go.
One prediction I will make. I don't go to the prediction business often anymore, but I don't think the final score will end up being 6-4. Either the Eagles or the Bengals are going to at least get one more goal before this is all said and done.
Ryman will win the face-off. It's controlled. They get it over toward Brzezinski. Brzezinski able to hold the zone in front of Smith. The Eagles will play it through the corner toward Heffron. Heffron Nice pass to Smith. Smith into the offensive zone trying to get around Streeter, but he can't. Streeter able to take it away. Plays it over toward Brzezinski. Brzezinski gets it ahead to Rickles. Rickles to Hansen into the offensive zone. Rickles had to slow down on getting into the offensive zone. That'll allow the Eagles to take the puck away and clear. Here's Brzezinski sending it back up into the far side corner. Streeter trying to get it to Rickles. It was out of his reach. Heffron on the near side trying to gain control of the puck. Blaine will get it back into the offensive zone as here's Rickles. Rickles in front and was just driven up into the far side corner. It's Heffron trying to get it behind him. Smith can't gain control of it. They'll get it ahead. Here's Heffron into the offensive zone, again battling with Streeter, and again Streeter wins the battle and takes the puck away. Well, Streeter will bank it off the side of the net. Streeter will play it up toward the far side. Streeter trying to knock it down now in the offensive zone. He's able to get it out to neutral as Ganaz plays it in offside with 3:59 to go.
Just a moment ago, I was unlucky there for the Eagles that they weren't able to hold the puck in the zone as they had. I believe it was Heffron kind of sitting wide open there on the doorstep, but just unfortunately for them, the puck trickled across the blue line as he had to go touch up. But tell you what, 3:59, all it takes is a couple of good shots here from Totino-Grace, and we could have ourselves another really interesting finish.
Patrick Finley off the end boards will play it down through the near side. Then back up toward the far side as Thielen. Thielen gets it out to neutral ice. Blaine and Solberg playing it ahead. Played back into the Blaine zone with West. Was intercepted almost by Bernovic. He gets it ahead to Lager. Bryce Lager into the offensive zone. He rips a shot and Johnson makes a save up out of play with 3:20 remaining. They were saying, Brett, just a one good shot could really change the whole dynamic of this game because you would have to make Blaine sweat it out a little bit at the end. Blaine just took that tough loss on Saturday in a tight game against a really good Blake team. A game that a lot of people were kind of thinking it looks like it's ticketed for overtime at that particular point. Drop pass for Heffron, and he just tipped it wide. Delzer, he scores on the wraparound. 5 goals in the last 2 games, 4 tonight. And Luke Delzer has gotten the goal that everybody wanted and was looking for. It's 6-5 with 3:10 to play.
Wow. Just making sure we're getting this out there on social media, but just an incredible effort by Delzer. He is on fire, absolutely.
An unbelievable performance by Luke Delzer, and he's the second Eagle to score 4 in a game this season after Heffron scored 4 against Osseo that one night. As Ryman able to get it in deep, but the Eagles still trailing by 1 at 6-5. 2:53 remaining in regulation, and make it 4 for 4 in unbelievable finishes over this last 10 days. The cross-ice pass is knocked down at the blue line. That was Smith trying to get it to Delzer. Well, you just got to kind of catch your breath because.
No kidding. Could we really have another overtime game? It's been 3 in a row for the Eagles. They've done a little bit of everything in overtime, a win, a loss, and a tie as well.
Another unbelievable game here on the TG network as it's played ahead to the blue line by the Bengals. Make its way up the near side, and then having stripped his Hansen on the far side, in front of the scorer's table as the Eagles able to get it back in deep. And then we're going to get a penalty coming here against Blaine.
Oh my.
That's going to be Schoberg for a high stick.
Wow, and the plot thickens. Yeah, and I think we're going to be getting a timeout here for either TG or Blaine. Either way, I think if I'm either team, I'd be calling a timeout in this situation. This is certainly a critical juncture in the hockey game right now. And now the question, if you're Totino-Grace, is that you got 2:22 left in regulation. You got a power play. Do you think about pulling the goaltender right now? You're guaranteed a face-off in your offensive zone. I've always been a fan of doing that because obviously that 6-on-4 advantage is significant, and I think the chances of someone scoring when they're 4-on-6 on an empty net is awfully low, so I would certainly be in favor of pulling the goaltender, but again, that's not my decision to make. That's why I'm not on the bench, and I'm sure the coaching staff for TG probably has a good strategy.
But on the flip side of that, it is Blaine who's on the other end of this with those goal scorers, and that's, of course, not something that you're going to want to take lightly. So we head to another unreal finish here at the Brooklyn Park Community Center. I want to remind everybody, with Brett Johnson and Al Finley, I'm Patrick Lilia. It's been an absolute pleasure. Oh, my goodness. And, of course, we still have a ways to go, but the last 3 games, it was just kind of got more and more progressively unreal as the games unfolded. It's going to be kind of hard to top that 3-goal deficit that was erased by Elk River last time out, but certainly we could be on our way to another unbelievable ending. We aren't there already. As Johnson will stay in the net for now. 2:22 to go. Puck controlled by the Eagles. Slide it to the circle. Smith will play it behind the end line as they try to get it out front. Smith with a shot, rebound, just shot over the net, out of play. May not have counted anyway because the net was off. That was Bernovic in front, and that's kind of a name. Bernovic's a name we haven't called a lot over the last few games, and I think certainly a goal here in this critical situation, I think could do a lot for him.
By the way, though, Bernovic has been excellent on the power play this season. He does have 4 power play goals.
Heffron will work it to the corner. Oliver Moore back to the point. Gnaz with a drive that went off the back of Rickles' stick. It's Heffron able to maintain possession. Heffron with a shot, he scores! Kyle Heffron has tied the game with a power play goal. 1:52 to go.
Unbelievable. Unreal. There is something magical that goes on here at the Brooklyn Park Ice Arena in 2020. Just another unreal finish. Let's watch it on the replay again.
Heffron with his 2nd goal of the game.
Look at that stick handling there and shot. Oh my goodness.
17 on the season. And there's just something just magical about this homestand this last week and a half, as Brzezinski will play this one ahead. That will go deep into the Eagle zone. Played back around toward the near side corner. Played deep in the Eagle zone and played back up toward the far side corner. Getting shoved up into the boards is Walraff. Eagles break out with it. Pass down toward the near side off the stick of Thielen. Gnaz will gather it in and retreat. 1:15 to play in regulation. Totino-Grace 6 and Blaine 6. As Thielen up in the far side corner takes a big hit from Brzezinski. As Delzer trying to dig it out. Puck is still fought for in the corner. Now Walraff able to get it out. Played back to the blue line, held by the Eagles. Under a minute to go. Stick save here by Wallin on the drive. Delzer plays it back up on the far side. Delzer with it on the far side boards. Delzer with Brzezinski in front of him. One-timer was whiffed on. As Hunter Hansen plays it in deep to the Eagles zone with 33 seconds to play in regulation. Eagles back out through neutral. Here's Oliver Moore. Moore down in the near side corner. Moore into the corner for Smith. It's taken away by Rickles with 15 seconds left. He sends it far side for Hansen. Hansen trying to slide it in for Ryman. It was out of reach. Comes down to the near side corner. 7 seconds remaining in regulation, and Blaine will just run the rest of the clock out. Another unbelievable finish, and we are going to go to overtime. for the 4th straight game.
Be interesting to look at the record book for high school hockey. Granted, there's been so many games. I'm sure teams have played 4 overtime games in a row, but it certainly has to be rare. And just not only the fact we've had 4 overtime games, but just in the way they've happened. Or in the last game for Totino-Grace, they led 5-2 with just over 2 minutes left in the game. Elk River scores 3 times. Then Totino-Grace does end up winning an OT. And then here in this one, when did TG score their 5th goal? Was that like with just over 3 minutes left?
Something like that.
Yeah, so they've scored twice within the last 3.5 minutes of the 3rd period to force overtime. It's just been an unreal couple of weeks of hockey.
With Andover, they traded goals. In the last 45 seconds, it was Smith who put the Eagles ahead with 1:35 to play. Then Andover answering with 41 seconds remaining to get it to overtime. A game that ended in a 3-3 tie. With the game at Rogers, where Rogers tied the game in the 3rd period and ended up winning that game in overtime on the Ryan Streeter goal. So we were kind of talking a little bit about the Holy Angels game. Here's what's coming up next, and well, the Eagles said not so fast. We're not ready to talk about Holy Angels just yet. Blaine led 2-1 after the 1st period. They led 4-2 after 2 periods, led 5-2 early in the 3rd, led 6-4 with about 2.5 minutes to play. With the Yowler horn in here, not really sure what that's all about.
Viking fans don't exactly like overtime, so
well,
I'm not sure who that bodes well for.
Well, they did this playoff
I guess so,
season.
yeah.
Probably for the first time in the history.
Well, now what they're playing is more likely.
That Olympic theme, we've heard that. I don't know if it's been on the air, but we've heard it a few times tonight. The 1980 Olympic team's 40th anniversary coming up. About a month from now, and the arena trivia has been very heavy on the Olympic questions.
Oh, I've learned more about the 1980 Olympic team than I think I've ever wanted to in my lifetime. Whoever the PA guy is, definitely an expert on the 1980 Olympic team. And by the way, if you are an expert on that, come to the Brooklyn Park Ice Arena, as they do have some good prizes if you answer their trivia questions correctly. Overtime, though, it's going to be interesting to see how Blaine responds, as this is certainly a veteran team that knows how to play in tight games. They've been in big games over the years, but Totino-Grace certainly has their own overtime experience. As we mentioned, this will now be their 4th consecutive overtime game, and they've done everything it can in overtime. They've won, they've lost, and they've tied. So curious to see what we have in store here in this extra session.
We are ready to go in overtime as it's played ahead through the neutral zone toward Thielen, but Brzezinski will get it back out to neutral. Here's Howie Moore with it as he sent it down toward the near side. That'll be an icing. We'll have a face-off deep in the Totino-Grace zone. 7:49 in overtime. Grace 6, Blaine 6. Luke Delzer with 4 goals. Kyle Heffron with 2. Heffron had the tying goal on the power play with about 1:50 left in regulation. The Eagles play it over toward the near side. Delzer sending it ahead. Ganaz on the near side, gathering it in. He'll play it toward the Blaine zone, but the Bengals get it back out. Rickles into the offensive zone. Rickles trying to slide this one through as Hansen deflected it in on Johnson, and he made the save. Hansen now down in the near side corner. Tries to get it back to Rickles, but it's taken away by Delzer. Delzer through neutral. He'll slow it down, gaining the Blaine zone. Delzer try to play this one through the near side into the corner. 7:10 to play in overtime as the Bengals take it back around their own net. Going to get up toward Rickles again. Rickles, though, got knocked off by Delzer. Here's Heffron into the offensive zone. Heffron drops it off to Smith. Loose in the slot, and here come the Bengals back with it. Ryman with a shot that was blocked by Schroeder as it's played back into the neutral zone. 6:45 to play in overtime. 6-6 our score. Cycle around back to the corner as it's played through by Walraff. Blaine again able to hold. There's a shot knocked down in front as Hansen trying to get it behind him. It's a shot that almost was able to be tipped by Busick. On the far side corner, Hansen puts on a hit in the corner. Flip down to the near side. Here's Heffron with it. Heffron will send it to the far side. Loftus back in his own zone with it. He plays it over toward the near side. Schroeder has it taken away. Here's Busick. Busick to the backhand. He scores! Zach Busick has won the game for Blaine in overtime. He scored the first goal of the game for the Bengals, and he has ended it in overtime. A minute 57 into the extra frame, and Blaine has won.
What a wild game. Even though Blaine's going to end up winning this one, you still have to hold your head high if you're Totino-Grace, because score 2 goals in the final 3:30 is certainly an accomplishment. But let's go ahead and watch this goal here on replay. And just unfortunately for the Eagles, Schroeder was not able to gather that puck cleanly. Let's watch it again one more time here on the replay. Yeah, Schroeder just kind of took a swat at it, and unfortunately wasn't able to hit it away, and that created that opportunity for Busick, and goes to the little backhand there, beats Wes Johnson. That's our final score. I'll watch it one more time. Yeah, just unfortunate there. Kind of a misread play by Schroeder, and Busick makes him pay for it. Watch him again go to the backhand. What a nice little move he makes right there. 7-6 the final score. The Blaine Bengals get the victory.
So an unbelievable game on so many fronts. As Totino-Grace was kind of chasing from behind most of the way, we're able to tie it up late in the game. As Kyle Heffron scored a pair, but Luke Delzer, the star of the show, he scored 4 times, including the goal to get it to 6-5, as well as the first 3 goals of the game for the Eagles. As Cole Hansen and Carson Rickles each scored 2 for Blaine. Zach Busick joins the party. He scored the first goal, and he scores the overtime winner. So we will wrap it up from here as the Eagles lose another heartbreaker, another unbelievable finish. They're able to get it to the extra frame, but Blaine wins it in overtime on the goal by Zach Busick, which is 7th goal of the season, and the Bengals will escape with a 7-6 victory over Totino-Grace. Our next game will be Thursday night when they take on Holy Angel. Talked about.
Are we going to get a 5th straight overtime game? Goodness.
I wouldn't really bet against anything at this point.
Kidding.
And that's, of course, another really good team, because we're kind of talking about kind of some of the growing pains they went through, but now they are in full bloom. Holy Angel Stars will come in here Thursday night. We'll have that game for you at 7 o'clock on Thursday night when they come in to close out the homestand here at the Brooklyn Park Community Center. So for Alan Brett, this has been Patrick. The final score one more time: Blaine 7 and Totino-Grace 6 in overtime. We will talk to you Thursday night. Have a good night, everybody.